Welcome to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina, and we are so glad you joined us today on Tyro TV.
You know, the word Tyro is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Oh,
Woo!
heck yeah. And when we say warrior, we mean learning how to war, how to fight for your legacy, to become a leader in your home, your community, and your workplace.
You know, in today's society, we want things handed to us.
Oh.
We want things given to us. You know what? I deserve this.
He has it, she has it, I should just have it.
That's right.
And life doesn't work that way.
Nope, it doesn't. I tell you what.
We have learned a ton by overcoming the obstacles of poverty, incarceration, entitlement mentality, and all the things we learned we applied to our life and build a healthy, strong, thriving family. And we are going to share those things with you.
You know what? And we had to learn the hard way.
Oh, yes, we did.
But if you apply the skills and the tools and the principles that we give on this show to you, we guarantee you this: you don't have to make the same mistakes we made. You don't have to go through the trauma and drama that we went through if you apply these principles to your life.
Right. It took us having to experience a 15-year incarceration, Ron in prison on the inside and the boys and I doing the time on the outside, to learn what we had to learn to be thriving, successful, healthy, and permanent family.
And today's show, we're going to talk about you reap what you sow.
Oh gosh, I know you've heard that before. You reap what you sow, but we're going to break it down today and really talk about what does that really mean? Why is it so important to understand that? And how do you begin to sow things that you actually want to reap in your life?
So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this, and we will be right back.
Tyro Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. Tyro Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine Tijerina's own personal experiences. Tyro Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of Tyro, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a Tyro, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina, and today we are talking about you will reap what you sow.
You know, when we hear that phrase, and a lot of times, in fact, it has become now probably a cliche in today's society, but we really want to activate that principle. We want to talk about it. We want to grab a hold of it. We want to unwrap this gift because that's really a gift of what it is. And if we can look at it as something that we should practice in a way every single day of our life, we will receive what we give.
And we hear all the time people, if somebody's in trouble, they'll say, well, you know, you reap what you sow. Well, I have this, you know what, you reap what you sow. But they say it so flippantly, right? Or I might say, oh, you know what, I'm just reaping what I sow. But usually now it's a good thing. So what we really need you to understand is that the things that you're doing right now, that you're going to reap the benefits of those things, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not even next week. It might be years to come where you're going to reap what you sow today. And you might have this total disconnect of not understanding that what you are getting back is because that's what you put out.
I tell you what, I look at the men and the families that we get to work with that are living in a world of dysfunction. You know, and when you live in a world of dysfunction, and we're talking about us, we have a tendency to blame others for what's happening to us. Because we can't see what we're sowing is really what we're reaping. Because when you're in the midst of a trauma, when you're in the midst of the drama and all the chaos in your life, you don't realize that that's what you're sowing. And then all of a sudden you wonder 10 years, 15 years down the road, man, why am I still broke? Why is my family dysfunctional? Why are we in a state of disarray?
Why won't my kids talk to me? Why do I not get invited to family events? Why is everybody always picking on poor me, right?
Why is everybody always picking on me?
And there's a reason. We have to understand, we have to be able to connect the dots between what is happening right now and what we have sown in the past. Now, when we think about we're reaping what we've sown, sometimes we're also reaping what other people have sown into our lives. But we're allowing them to sow into our lives. So if we are reaping positive because of what someone has sown, then we should be grateful that we allowed people to drop things into our lives. But if we're reaping negative, then we have to really look and say, okay, what is it? Taking personal responsibility, how did I actually get to this place in my life? Why am I so miserable? Taking a step back and saying, what have I been sowing or allowed to be sown into my life?
So what is it? What is the phrase is, you reap what you sow. So what is it? This is a living, breathing word, right? It's a living, breathing action. You reap what you sow. There's motion involved here. There's energy here. You reap what you sow. And guess where it first begins? This sowing begins first in your mind. You first think about it. You thought about it. You meditate on it. You're looking at it, and you still let it not murmur. What's the word?
Marinate.
Marinate. Thank you, Cathy. You marinate these thoughts, and all of a sudden you don't even realize you're living out what you think. You live out what you're reaping, and you sowed it in your mind. You're living it in your life. Man.
You know, he's just out to get me. She's just out to get me. Next thing you know, there's contention between you because you start behaving and living that way. What we are talking about is the power to determine your own success, your own path. And when you don't understand the power you have, then you are going to be sowing garbage and reaping garbage over and over and over again and consistently blaming other people. What we're talking about is taking authority over what it is that you are doing, how it is that you are living your life. Because understanding the concept of reaping what you sow is the difference between the people that are successful and the people that are not.
And we're going to get deeper into that later. I want to talk, we're talking about a Tyro mindset.
Ooh.
Earlier we talked about the definition of a Tyro. Someone learning something new. And dads, if you're out there and you're watching this show, I want to encourage you, dads, you set the course for generations to come. You set the course for your family. You may not know this right now, but you might be an older guy now, grandpa, great-grandfather, and all these things, and you're wondering what happened, and maybe you've reaped some things that are negative in your own generationals and your families because something that happened a long time ago, but you still have the ability to change the course of generations to come, because as long as you have breath, your story's not over. You can begin sowing today things that would produce a beautiful return of your investment.
That's right. So when we think about return on investment, we're thinking about, you deposit something and then later on you get more back than what you put in. The same is true whether it's negative or positive. So when we say to you, you're reaping what you sow, or you need to understand that you're going to reap what you sow, that means that you can't think that if you put one little kernel of corn in the ground, you're only going to get one kernel of corn back. You're going to get a whole stalk. You're going to get thousands of kernels of corn out of that one. The same thing happens with how we invest in people's lives, how we invest in our own lives. We're going to get a return on that investment that either empowers us in a positive way or continues to take us out and off our path of destiny.
Well, that's what we're talking about. You reap what you sow. Because a lot of times people want to blame others for something that they created, that they thought about. They spoke into existence. They called it forth. And they don't even know it. Why? Because you don't know who you are. Come on, dads. You don't know the power that is inside you to create a world that is so beautiful, because you're living in a world of chaos. Where? Right here. And this is where it begins.
So as we go through today's show, we're going to talk next about why is it so important to know what it is you're sowing, and then we're going to teach you how to sow positive things. So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. Tyro Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a Tyro Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about you reap what you sow.
Oh, wait. I'm reaping what you're sowing. Or I'm reaping what I'm sowing.
Well, because we're one, yes.
So you're going to reap what you sow, but you're also going to be impacted, affected, or infected by what other people in your sphere of influence are sowing if you are in close proximity and doing life with them.
You know, when we think about why is this important to really understand, when you think about the consequences of the seeds you're planting in not only your own life, but in the lives of others. You know, we have been given such a great responsibility. Me as a father, me as a husband, as a grandfather, as an employer, you know, we have been given such a great responsibility that we have to be conscious and focused about the seeds that we're planting in and around us when all the time.
Because now, as I am doing things, whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever I invest my time, my energy, or my dollars in.
Or whatever you're thinking.
Whatever I'm thinking, right? So, because my thoughts are going to dictate what I invest my time and energy in. So the impact of that investment is going to come back on me, my children, my husband, my employees, my community, right? So it is so important when we think about setting forth in our reputation and we think about really wanting to achieve our dreams and our goals, we have to understand that it's all those little decisions, all those little pennies that we're dropping along the road that add up because that investment is going to come back. It's either going to come back and knock us out or it's going to come back and it's going to build us up.
You know, when we reap what we sow, what we don't know is people are judging what we grow.
Oh, yes, they are.
People are judging what you grow. They may not be judging you. You know what? If I want to know something about somebody, I don't even have to watch them necessarily. I can just see what they leave behind. Right? I can see what they've been planning. I can see how they've been dictating. I can see what they've been growing. And if you've been growing, I know in the past in my own life, you know, I grew a lot of darkness. You know, there was no light in my life. And I was creating a place of like a death valley everywhere I went. Nothing but death existed where I was at. Because why? My mind, I was dead in my thinking. Right. I didn't know how to resurrect anything. I didn't know how to bring anything to life. Everywhere I went was chaos and destruction.
And when we think about, you know, we think, well, the little things maybe don't matter as much as the big things. Every day we make little decisions that those are the most important things. Those things are setting our course. Those are the things that are allowing us to move forward or holding us back. And they're either smelly, stinky things that cause people to be repulsed by our lifestyle and not want to be near us, or they are sweet, fragrant smelling things that cause people that want to lean in. So Dad, you particularly, if you are making choices that cause your family to keep you at arm's length, you really need to stop blaming them and look at what are you sowing? What are you sowing in your own life? What are you sowing into the lives of your children and the mother of your children, hopefully your spouse, that is creating this distance and this aversion to you? And that's the same regardless of who we are. If we are sowing poop, we're going to get back stink.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm tired of sowing poop.
That's right.
But it's crazy when I had to be real with myself and realize that I was unlikable, right? I wasn't a good friend, right? But and I look at the people that I was associating with way back in the day, all of us stunk. All of us were short. We came up short in life itself. Like. Yeah, and I was attracting where I was at, right? And when I began to wake up and realize, you know what, the reason why this is so important is I wanted something better for my kids. I wanted something better for my wife. I wanted something better for my community. But then the change had to happen. Listen, when we're sowing, that means we got to till the ground, right? That means you got to work hard to get that stinking thinking out, because the first change of action, and we're going to get deep into this, you know, how do you do this? It begins first in your mind. You first got to start cleaning your mind out of the garbage that you've been planted and you've been reaping, you've been sowing, you've been watering, you've been nourishing.
Nourishing, it is producing garbage. right? Sewage is what it's producing in your life. And you have to understand that if you want to be successful and you really want to be, for us, we say a Tyro is a person worth following. You want to be a father worth following. You want to be a family worth following so that your children for generations to come are being successful. Then you have got to be sowing the right seeds. You've got to change the way that you think. It is so important because you are setting a course, not just for your life, but for the people coming behind you. And you are either going to make it difficult or easy for people to be successful that follow you. It is your choice, and you make that choice every single day by even the smallest things. What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? How are you investing your time? All those things matter.
You know, when you're conscious of the ROI, the return on investment,
baby.
right? When you're conscious of that, you realize that everything that you're doing will prosper. Because you're focused, you're conscious, and you realize that I'm about ready to make a minor investment. I'm about ready to make a major investment. I'm about ready to give of myself 100%. I'm about ready to give 20% of myself. Whatever it is you're doing, you're conscious of it, and you realize that you want a great return of whatever that investment is. So when I'm empowering Cathy or my kids or the people around me, when I become that influencer in people's life, and I want them to become successful, that's how I measure success, by their success.
But if you want success, you got to go and get it. You got to get it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. So when we come back, we're going to tell you how to get it.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the Tyro program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a Tyro, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a Tyro. I'm a Tyro. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a Tyro or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about you reap what you sow.
Ooh-wee. And you have to sow, right? We live all around these farmers, and all of these farmers, they don't sit in the spring and say, wow, I know that field right there can grow corn, and I know that one can grow beans, and so I'm just gonna sit and wait for it to happen. That is not how success happens. You have to go and get it, which means the farmers are out there plowing, and they're dropping the seed in the ground, trusting that seed is going to produce a return. We have to do the same thing.
And you know, that is so powerful, Cathy, because that's not even the end of their process.
Right.
After they plant it, they water it, or it rains, or whatever happens in there, they do what they do to cause it to grow. And guess what? Then they got to go harvest it, right? So when you're reaping something, there is a harvest coming.
There's still effort
Right.
involved in the reaping, right? So your effort in the sowing and there's effort in the reaping. So we're gonna break down exactly things to get you started on sowing positive things in your life and in your family's life. Step number 1.
One of the things that I had to do personally to really quiet myself down so I could hear myself think, so I could begin a new way of thinking, a new way of living, is to meet this individual by the name of silence.
Oh.
You know, and silence is a deep dude. He's kind of scary because now what happens is when you embrace silence, you find that time where you can quiet it down, you're going to hear how you really think. Right? And guess what? I didn't like what I was hearing. I said, my goodness, I need to change the way I think. No wonder I'm reaping such chaos in my life because my thought process is chaotic.
So you're already sowing negative just in your stinking thinking, these mind battles that you're having. You've got to get control of it. So number one is be still, be quiet, and actually contemplate and think about, wow, what am I thinking about all the time? Why am I thinking so defeatedly? Number two, you're going to say, okay, now I've got to capture those defeating thoughts, those things that are holding me back and keeping me from moving forward. Either like, wow, there's no point in trying. I'm never going to be able to do it. Nobody likes me. It's just my lot in life. All that crap that goes on in your head, get a hold of it. And then say, you know what, instead of thinking that way, I'm going to replace it with positive thoughts. You know what, in the past I thought I couldn't do it, but you know what, it's going to take courage, but I can do it. And then as you begin to think on positive things, you begin to empower yourself to act on them.
And that's number three. In fact, here's your assignment for number three. Write down 25 affirmations about you. Who do you say you are? And then you begin to repeat those, right? 25 great attributes about you. I am reliable. I am dependable. I can do all that I can do, right? I can do it. I can be this. And start writing those down and say them to yourself for the next 30 days, once a day. Get that sheet of paper out and say it out loud.
So that's 25 positive true things about you. And so I'm punctual, I'm caring, I'm kind. They can't be things like, wow, I've got great hair, right? Or wow, I live in a nice neighborhood. Not that, not external. We're talking about attributes that you have. Because as you begin to focus and switch your focus away from those negative thinking patterns and into positive things, then you are going to begin to exemplify gratefulness for the life that you have, which then leads us into number 4.
But before we say number 4, let's go over number 1 and through 3 again, right? 1, 2, 3. First one, embrace silence. Listen to yourself for the first time. Meditate upon, do you like the way you think? Then number 2,
crush those negative thoughts. Grab a hold of them and say, I'm going to crush this because I'm going to slay my dreams. I'm going to get a hold of them and I'm going to conquer every self-doubting, everything that has derailed me in the past. So you're going to grab a hold of those negative things in your mind and you're going to begin to think positive things. And what's going to help you then is number 3, you're going to make a list of 25 positive true things about you, and you're going to hang it up next to your mirror so that every day you see it and you check them off and you read them. And as you read them, I guarantee you that after a week, you're going to be starting to think about 5 more, 10 more, 20 more things. Like, you know what? I am capable. I am capable. This is my destiny. This is my purpose. This is my passion, and I am able to achieve it.
And number 4, you know what? This is really, really important. If you want to reap greatness, if you want to reap something healthy, you know what? You got to learn to celebrate others.
Oh, say that again, Ron.
You got to learn to celebrate others, because if you're not celebrating the people next to you, if you're not celebrating the guy down the road, if you're not celebrating the family that's right over the street from you, right across the street, you can't get mad when nobody's celebrating you.
Oh, that's
because
right.
You reap what you sow.
You're reaping what you sow. When you sow selfish things, when it is all about you, you are going to only reap all about you. And that means that nobody else is going to show up to help you. Nobody else is going to affirm you. Nobody else is going to be there to help you achieve your dreams. Nobody else is going to want to follow you because you're just about who?
You. And celebrating other people is so key to your success, and learning to see the opportunities that are always in front of you to celebrate others, right? Remember this saying, if you're not celebrating them, don't get mad when they don't celebrate you.
That's the difference between a gardener and a farmer. A gardener is making stuff just for themselves. They've got a small plot of land. It's very small. It's just for them and their family. And that's okay, because you first got to make sure that you're healthy. But a farmer feeds the world. And so your influence will grow and your success will grow if you begin to sow into others.
So when we come back, we're going to wrap all this up. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
We'll be right back.
Tyro Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. Tyro Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine Tijerina's own personal experiences. Tyro Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of Tyro, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a Tyro, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina, and today we are talking about reaping what you sow.
You know, we've used the analogy a lot, the farmer, right? And the land and the tilling and everything they put into it to reap their harvest. But I want to ask you, what does your land look like? What is your earth in here?
Territory that you have dominion over.
What does it look like? Is it filled with gravel? Is it filled with sand? Or is it good ground? Are you planting good things in good ground? Because you might have a great personality. You might have some great ideas, some great thought process, but your ground that you're tilling in or that you're planting in is filled with weeds and sand and gravel. It can't grow anything.
That's why the very first step in actually learning how to actually reap something you want to reap is to conquer your mind battles, to get a hold of that negative way of thinking and begin to actually think positively. Think about your future. Think about other people and pouring into first and foremost yourself, right? Because if you're empty, you can't help somebody else. So fixing you and then helping other people and investing in other lives, and you are going to begin to reap a harvest you cannot contain.
You know, one of the examples that come to mind of that by fixing you first is if you're in an airplane ride, and they tell you this all the time when you're up in the air, that if those masks come down, who do you put one on first?
You.
Yourself. And then you take care of the person next to you to make sure they're okay. But the first and foremost, if you're sick, if you're growing a lot of weeds or a lot of poison ivy, and I say poison, right, or a lot of weeds that can make you sick, right? Then that's what you're gonna give out to others. So be careful what you're giving out, because what we want for you is to help everyone around you have a thriving life.
So if you take these principles and you begin to apply them right now, I guarantee you that you're going to begin to see your influence change, your influence on your own life and the influence over your children and the people around you. We want to thank you for taking time today to join us today on TYRO TV.
So until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.